Hi, guys, good evening, and welcome to our third episode of the series Fit as a Fiddle. In the last episode, we talked about one of the unconventional career opportunities of becoming a fitness coach. Today, we will decode another such opportunity of becoming an outdoor educator or a trek leader. Please welcome Samkit Jain, our guest speaker for the evening. He is an outdoor expedition trip leader, certified wilderness first responder, and also a NOLS certified wilderness first responder and medicine, and holds a diploma in basic skilling course and much more. He's led for more than 50 plus high altitude expeditions in Himalayans range. He was a trek leader with India Hike sometime back and currently an experiential educator at School of Outdoor Leadership. Thank you, Samkit, for joining today and welcome to the platform.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much to inviting me for your show.
Okay, so I think trekking is one of the fancy things that I was already heard. And
Yeah.
during my stay in Shillong for about 2 years, trekking
hmm
was all we used to think as an expedition whenever we had a long weekend off from our MBA studies. How did you kind of pave your way towards this particular field?
it's an interesting story actually. I came across this part of like adventure education and adventure activity by I'll say more of like luck. So I was not into this activity. I have not done any treks till like age of like 22.
Okay.
And I was in college. I was working on my company. I was into IT startups and all that kind of stuff. And incidentally, I happened to take a sabbatical for like 6 months. I went on like Himalayan trek, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I might do it for like for a while. So over a period of 3 to 4 months, I did a lot of treks on my own, bought my sleeping bag tent, and just did it. So it was going well. Then money ran out. Then someone told me that you should join some company to lead people if you have done so many treks on your own. So I applied. I got the job, and uh, till now I'm working like in this field. So it's I came across I'll say as a chance, and that's it.
And
Yeah,
though a lot of people do feel it as a side gig or a venture, but
yeah,
you eventually picked it up as a full time thing.
yeah,
As you
yeah,
said, that you ran out of money at some point of time.
yeah.
And instead of coming back to a conventional job or a conventional corporate world, you still plan to take that leap of faith and kind of go there. How was
Yeah.
your thought process and what kind of the journey has been?
So the leap of faith that I kind of took is like I'll do this job. I applied for this job. I'll do this job for a year, and then I came back. But eventually, after doing the job, I asked my company to extend my contract, and they were happy to do that. And after while I was doing the job, I got to know about this field as this is not like you do a sabbatical. Unfortunately, a lot of companies in India offer like a sabbatical kind of work. But as you go abroad, you need to do a proper degree. There's a courses on outdoor leadership and all. You could do a degree to do a PhD as well on this
Okay.
industry. So in abroad, there's a proper industry where you need to study and get into the work zone, and it's properly defined as well. So I happened to come across, and then I thought that I've worked enough in India. It's time for me to look for job opportunity abroad, and that's why I went to Australia to do that work. And that's what changed me. Started thinking of like this is a proper career. And when I came back, that's why I started my own company as well. And now I'm seeing a lot of organization are offering as a lot proper career pathway on this field.
Sounds very interesting because I happen to know a couple of Google and McKinsey people or consulting people from outside India, and
hmm
they are too happy-go-lucky that sabbaticals are one of the very common norms out there. If we
Yeah.
today ask for a 1 month leave from our organizations, we might have to sit for a lot of
Right.
interviews with
Right.
our managers to kind of get that one.
Yeah.
But those people are super chill. They do get a 6 month or a 1 year up to sabbatical to just explore out what they really want to do as a passion.
Exactly.
And I think
Exactly.
that is more as ingrained as a culture that why something like this field is too much I don't know, mature in the market of outside India, while it's not there in India. What differences you kind of really pinpoint that when you have been in this industry for quite a long time, and you also eventually picked up Australia and plan to at least go and have an experience there.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
differences you kind of feel?
So the basic difference I felt is I'll talk it in a two different ways. One is like in the industry itself, as you see that the work culture when you go abroad is much better than our work culture. That's one of the
True.
things you will feel, but that you will get to experience once you are in the industry itself. Overall, that work is properly defined. So, however, it's the work is like glamorized that we live in the mountains and all those things, but still a work. So you still need to keep on doing stuff. You keep on doing learning new things. There's industry standards keep on every year. It's keep on changing. There's one simple thing is like there's something called wilderness first course or a first aid which you need to give in the wild or the backcountry. So in India, no one has it. But when you work abroad, everyone, even if you're going on taking people on a park, you need to have that. So that's one
Okay.
of the things. Along with that, you need to recertify after every 2 years. So a lot of things are there which are not in India, but slowly it's been developing, and they categorized like this kind of thing proper as a education, I'll say, instead of just like going on for fun or a trip. So that's the whole kind of difference we'll see in the industry
Fair
itself.
enough. Fair enough. And also, to just add on that, these treks or let's say outdoor exploration has been kind of a new field for people of tripping, chilling, and having a break in India is the way I kind of see it.
Hmm.
And the reason or the place that where I'm coming from is earlier we used to go on trips to a place
Hmm.
like a hill station to just chill and kind of
Right,
have a
right,
touristic impact.
right.
But today people do prefer to kind of explore the unexplored.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And eventually, recently, okay, obviously with help of my friend, come colleague, who is also your ex-colleague
yeah, yeah,
Shivam,
yeah, yeah,
when he kind of got into India hikes that out of a consulting firm, that was a
yeah,
very big challenge in a discussion in his family,
yeah,
even
yeah,
between us as
yeah,
colleagues. So, and eventually, if you explore this field, you'll find very couple of a
yeah,
limited companies who have made it big, plus
yeah,
a limited set of companies who made it as a whole time full learning experience. India Hikes
right,
being one,
yeah,
and Thilophilia I think is another.
yeah,
But not much of a companies are there. But today people are shifting to their basis towards these check or adventurous
right,
company.
right, right,
What is
right.
your take, considering you are also building something like this?
Yeah. So when you see the industry as a whole, there's two type of trips you go on. One is a commercial guiding trip where you go on a trek, which mostly India Hikes does, along with a few. They work with schools and colleges to take them, which is a educational learning part of it. So India has a lot of travel companies. Tours and travels
True.
are a lot of, but
Yeah.
experiential travel, experiential education company, unfortunately, India doesn't have that much. Coming from the background, if you see, like we all must have heard that we had a system of gurukuls, right? Back
Yeah.
in days. So
True.
Gurukul is basically outdoor education, which was
Yeah.
back in yeah, where you go on like a camp where you learn all those outdoor skills and then you implement in your life. Sadly, we don't have that much, but the western part of the world have recognized that system. So now they have implemented right from as you go to the school, you need to go on these summer camps compulsorily till you like year 10 or year 11. So
Okay.
that's not exactly in our education system now, but it has been changing, and obviously due to the COVID, that thing has been like been a very slow progress, but it's been changing a lot. So a lot of work has been going on about the education, the learning part of this outdoor education field.
Fair enough. And I think to put an end to this global scenario that we are discussing today, and also about this industry, what do you think, or the future course of action? Do you think that government should be a little more active on proactive steps to
Yeah,
be taken, or you feel that other companies or the private educational institutions should kind of come up and acknowledge that this is one field where people normally lack, or it has a set of different management or your personal development skills that can be gained through this particular stream. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are that it should be done 50-50. Like government has to take an initiative. I am from MP, Madhya Pradesh. So the government has a initiative of taking, I think, 2 lakh students on a summer camp. There's an
Uh-huh.
initiative called Anubhuti. They launched that initiative. Then COVID hit and everyone forgot about it. So
Okay.
what happens is the government starts the initiative but doesn't do work on it. So it doesn't get to the crowd, to the end
User.
client, which are like the students or the colleges. And a lot of private companies needs to be start on this and create awareness that this is something we are offering. And as a lot of people would be offering, the cost of these programs would be like feasible for everyone, because this program sometimes cost. You can't start this program for a free. So if you are taking
Yeah.
someone on a trip, you need to cost them, compared to a lot of when you say ed tech industry, they start as a free because you are doing it online. I'm not saying that they don't require efforts and all, but it's whole lot of different thing when you are doing a physical activity. So a
One
mix of
physical,
both.
second safety. I mean,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
physical,
and
second safety is also something we need to be
safety.
care of.
Yeah, yeah. Another is a safety part which you need to train people. So once the government starts the initiative, the institutes will join it, and that's the difference. I'll again bring the point of the schools or education institutes outside India. So they also have a lockdown. They also have the similar kind of lockdown. In fact,
Then,
Australia has the biggest lockdown. But the government look was that as soon as the lockdown was over, they were directing the schools that, you know, the kids have been inside, all the people have been inside. So it's time for them to go out in the nature, not in the restaurants or not something like that. Go out in the nature where the social distancing and everything could be managed, as well as it's important for mental health.
fair enough.
So mental health and physical health is something, especially the mental health. This programs supports your mental health, and this is what uh, government, if the Indian governments are working towards it, then if they are promoting this, that's the whole difference you could see.
Now, since you have brought this point of a shift inside of psyche as well for students or the people as a whole, do you think this will also require a cultural shift, considering the way we see it as a trekker or we see outdoor learning is first point we talk about security, safety, second
Yeah,
point we talk about who goes to those places, third
yeah,
point then we talk about that lack of services, right?
yeah, yeah,
But eventually, if they start going that place, for example, Spiti
yeah,
Valley, someone who
yeah,
there was not a time when people knew about it, and today it
yeah,
is one of the
yeah,
best tourist spots that people go and explore, do
yeah,
paragliding, do touristy stuff as well. So, do
yeah.
you think it will also require a good amount of cultural shift or
Definitely.
mental acknowledgement that this is important?
Yeah, it will definitely requires a lot of cultural shift, and that will occur when a lot of companies start to introducing proper safety standards and all. So if you see, anyone can go on a. You must have gone to do a rafting in Ganga in
Yeah,
Rishikesh.
Rishikesh.
I don't think many companies are asking for the medical certificate, or if you are giving medical certificate, you are just like going from the doctor one day before. So a lot of culture shift needs to be done. As long as you make it safe, people will opt for it. But you need to portray that message loud and clear that this is a safe
It's safe.
activity. So a lot of people, they have this backlog in mind that all these adventure activity are not safe. But
I am
to
one.
give
I
you,
am part of one.
yeah, so just to give you perspective, like you drive to work, or it's more dangerous to do paragliding or to a rock climbing with in the starting phase, because there's something called, we in our field we call this as perceived risk and actual risk. So when you are at the edge of cliff tied up with a rope, you perceive that it's very risky. What if the rope fell down or rope break down? But actual risk is zero or 0.001%, because the chances of that rope to be get like on the way of baking is very minimum because it has been tested. It has been tested for like some 2000 kilos. So this message need to be conveyed to people that it's safe actually, as long as the industry operates in that manner. So the
Yes.
safety standards needs to be done with the industry
So
instead.
I think
That's
that requires a certificate or something which assures the person who's going out as a
yeah, right,
to
right.
try that stuff that it's safe. Second,
Yeah,
the way you said it is actually very loud and clear that clearly we all have a perceived risk of whenever
yeah.
we try any activity for that matter.
Anything,
And
right.
then when it comes to India, we're not too
Yeah,
sure about the rescue management system. I think
yeah,
what
yeah,
I as a person is more concerned is like, "Ki, theek hai, what if the rope breaks down? Okay, I'm okay. I know it can happen.
yeah.
Being from a risk background, we know, but we do not have any mitigation strategy towards that. No,
That,
I don't even have a visibility whether something happens, I'll be rescued or not. Even I don't have that visibility. So
right, right.
I think that is also another loop or a process which has to be kind of figured out well before we encourage students or before we encourage the individuals to take
Yeah,
on that activity as a
right, right, right.
okay activity. We all
Yeah,
go for boating. Nobody asks the question of what if the boat falls away, your remote control stop working. No, because you know that at the end of the day, a swimmer will be there. He'll swim you to the sideline. But
okay.
similar things are not happening or they're not well communicated when you're
Mhm.
on the mountain or when you're on a height.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the chances of failing the boat and the swimmer to save you is like very less compared to the mountains because
True.
rescue on a swim, like in a water, it's much more difficult than on a land.
But
So
still, we
I'm
have
just
faith
saying,
on that particular
yeah, we
process
have faith on that. Yeah,
because we
yeah,
know that there is a rescue mechanism. At least कुछ है तो.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, इनकी पता नहीं
exactly.
क्या होगा.
Right, right, right. So that's one of the things as a whole industry which I feel needs work. Yeah, it's been going. It's a slow process, but it's been started in India as well.
Fair enough. Now I just want to take a little bit shift from talking about industry, talking about you. I want to exactly know that how should an common or a layman guy or a person should perceive or understand this concept of outdoor education or a trek
Mhm.
leader for that matter,
Yeah,
because I know it's a part of it.
yeah, yeah. It's a part of it. Yeah. So just to start with, to enter any industry, you need to have the basic of it. If you
Correct.
want to become a software developer, you need to know how to write a code.
Clearly.
Basic. If you don't know how to write a code or if you don't know how to operate on a computer, you can't enter into the industry. So in our
Correct.
industry, this first thing, especially in India, if you need to know, is the basic of the industry, which is related to sports activity related. So if I say if you want to take people on a trek on Indian Himalayas, you need to know that you should have done few treks on your own, or you have done few courses like mountaineering courses, which are offered by a few different institutes. And similarly, if you want to become a rock climbing instructor, you need to know a rock climbing. If you want to become a raft guide, you need to know that. Saying that because we don't have proper schools for that where you could learn, there are few individuals, organizations run by the defense. They would teach you the defense part, not the defense, the technical part of it. But
Okay.
now, when you are actually in the job, you know the technical part, but you need to handle a lot of different things. So
Fair enough.
it's like a normal job. If you are a manager, you need to manage people. You need to mitigate different kind of risk in your field. You need to handle the safety. You need to have crisis management, people management skills, facilitation skills, and this is all real world because you are not facilitating inside in a safe environment. When
Correct.
I say a safe environment, is an environment safe environment. When you're facilitating, there are challenges you might face when you are in a mountain or when you are in a on a river. So all these things you need to have that. So there's something called outdoor leadership, which is another skill set which need to people have. So I'll say that technical skill set people need to have, and the second skill set is the outdoor leadership, and the third is the medical safety, which is overall skill set like which required by everyone, should required by everyone. uh, in India, I'm not sure how much it is like compulsory, but in the Western countries, that's the first thing you need to have. basic knowledge of providing first aid and medical. So these three skill sets, I think, you need to have to enter into this industry, and then you keep on doing stuff, learning skill as you go up.
Okay, but as you also point out that India does not really have a good amount of institutes, right? I think
Right.
as far as I know, there are some couple of private or individually run institutes who
Yeah.
kind of give this or impart this education, but it's
Yeah.
not something which is widely known
Right.
to people as
Right.
compared to outside. Because I remember that I like people going out for a river rafting course or becoming a certified underwater diver and stuff like that. There,
Hmm.
those courses are way more popular and happens on the weekends for people staying in places like Dubai or Canada or otherwise. While in
Right.
India, we barely find one. We really have to find one or two. And since there's a limit option that we have, we do not have good limitations to explore out. We end up either going to one of those places or just shun the option out of even trying that particular field.
Right. Right.
So how should one pick or choose what are the right considerations or parameters you will try to put whenever someone thinks of an institute, because it's a unknown territory and not a much of clarity is available except
Yeah.
for some blogs and stuff written by people. But
Yeah.
how should someone actually consider which institute and how to kind of shortlist them?
So again, it comes with individual activity. I'll say a few individual activities that you want to go. So for
Okay.
example, if you want to become a scuba diving instructor, you need to have a party certified few scuba diving courses, open water courses,
Correct.
and all those things, which are recognized, and there are few institutes in India who do that, which have taken their franchisee. If you want to do a rock climbing, the topmost level course is something called SPA, single pitch assessment for rock climbing guide. So that's the top level course. But in the starting to the top, there is not much of a course.
Okay.
So it all starts with you keep on building your experiences, and once you get the chance, you can go abroad, get those certification, and if you don't have those certifications, you are able to work as long as you know what you are doing. So if you know climbing properly and if you are confident about it, I am if I'm like going on a trip with someone and if that person knows about the climbing and if I'm confident in him, then the certification comes at later end. But they need to have those things. So this is all technical things which an individual can learn through different institutes. In India, the institutes are run by the defense. So as I said it before, those courses are much cheaper, but those are purely basic technical courses. So you could learn them, but you need to keep on doing on your own as you build the experience for it.
Any quick checks to identify the right course or the right institute?
Yeah. So there are few institutes. If you want to enter into the mountaineering, you could do a mountaineering courses. So if you just Google mountaineering courses in India, there are like 4 or 5 institutes run by the government who would teach you mountaineering, but it's an entry level thing. So again, I'm saying run by the defense. So you are doing it to learn it. The certification may be matter, may not be matter in India, and in the abroad, definitely those
Required.
certifications they don't recognize. They don't recognize by the defense institutes in India. So mountaineering, there is something called I'll give you the names. There's NIM, Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, then Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, which is in Sikkim, and there is in Manali is Abhimas, which is Atal Bihari Mountaineering Institute. So all this named by like the politicians, but
Then,
so that's you could do for the mountaineering part. Rafting, the same institutes run few rafting courses as well, so you could do that rafting, and they have started rock climbing a little bit as well. So you could
okay.
learn from them because it's cheap for you, but you need to keep on doing the stuff. And if you want to learn about the leadership part, you need to go abroad or well, do from my institute. But yeah, so
So,
these are the
what are the
things.
myths, or what are the myths or the challenges that you have come across when you kind of picked up this outdoor education or trek leading as a field? What are the myths that you kind of hear from people?
Yeah. One of the myths is you get to travel a lot, which is half myth, half fact, because you do get to travel a lot, but at the same time, you are staying at the one place for a long time as well. So you do one trek, you fell in love with it. But imagine if you're staying on that place for 2, 3 months and doing that trek again
Get
and
what?
again. So that's not the travel you would be doing. One thing is, people say that ये जवानी है दीवानी वाली life है. You get to travel and bunny, like people call you like that character. You are traveling and you are going on like exotic places. Yes, it's a myth because what you see is the half part of it, because the weather is not going to be same with you. So a lot of time the weather is bad, you are stuck there, there's landslide, you are in a traffic jam. So it's not glamorous as much what people used to think. It's a proper job, so you are responsible for people. So you can't drink, you can't party when you are on the job, and you can't clock off as well. When you are on the job, you are on the job. So it's not like 6 p.m. and I'm going back in my tent. You need to be aware of it. So that's one of the myths.
And
I'll say
finally,
that.
remaining in low network or let's say no connectivity. How does that feel?
Mm, Low network connectivity used to be there, I think, 4 years back, but now due to Geo, I think the network connectivity is
It's
pretty well.
better. Okay.
But yeah, still, when you are go on a remote location, there's low connectivity and no reception. So if any incident happen, so you can't stay in touch with your loved ones all the time. So that's one of the myths. Even if there is a network, you can't go back to your family each weekend, like if you
Yeah.
are doing any other job. So it's the work is long. It's not like simple work. I'll say that the work days are long and hard.
And I'm sure it is tiring and challenging mentally as well as physically, because physically requires a lot of strength to get on such places, and mentally because you have a team of 10 people or a group of 15 people to handle, and
Yeah,
you are kind of worried about their safety all the time. So
yeah,
what are the skills, two questions here, what are the skills a person needs to kind of overcome their mental and physical barrier? Second, obviously that's a part and parcel of your life, how do you manage it?
yeah. So first, I'll come with the physical challenge. Physical challenge is basically you need to be fit. It's a fitness standard is there. You need to be fit, and if you are doing this stuff every each and day, you become fit anyway. So
Okay.
that comes as a pro as well. If you are going on a trek, you become fit anyway. Along with that, the technical part you learn are also the comes into the physical part of it. So if you are doing any rock climbing course or workshop, that means you have learned how to climb on a rock and you know all those things. So that helps you. So that covers your physical part of it. Mental part of it requires constant learning, engaging, a lot of work for it. And I'll say that mentally fit, you need to be like, if you say divide the work, I'll say the mental part is more than the physical part, because anyway you have that physical strength and everything. Along
Correct.
with that, when you are leading group of people, the assumption is you are more fit than the rest of the group. So you are there to manage them. You are not there to manage your fitness. But the mental part takes a whole toll on your, like when you are doing on any trip. So you need to be like mentally fit, and it requires, like I'll say that 60-70% it's a mental game. And there's a lot of things which comes with the mental part. When you do outdoor leadership courses outside or even from SOL with my company, we talk about few things like risk management plan and risk mitigation plan. So that gives you assurance that I know this, if something happens like that, I would be able to mitigate that. We talk about the medical part of it. If someone gets a fracture in the middle of a mountain where the nearest evacuation is 2 days away, But if you know how to give a splint or how to make a plaster with makeshift resources you have, that gives you a mental confidence. So these are all the things. It's a lot of work requires on the mentally, how you manage your mental health well, and like how you are pushing towards it. A lot of work needs to be done, and it's a keep going learning space. You keep on learning different kind of stuff for that.
Okay. And some key skills that you think a person should have if he is venturing this particular space as a career option.
One thing the person should have is a passion for this career option, passion for learning. Sorry. Technical skills are the basic things, and I'll say that curiosity and humility to learn this stuff. So all these things comes later in the end. Sorry, all these things, what I'll say is the management part and the medical part, you could learn it, but you to be an humble and humility in this field is basic need. You need to have that. If you have that, and then you could keep on like learning stuff and
Exploring
do
more.
that. Yeah.
And how do you kind of cope back with mental blocks? Because I'm sure they're going to be mental blocks towards this job, or
Yeah.
they're going to be physical blocks that, I don't want to go there now, or
Yeah.
I need a break. How do
Yeah.
you kind of come back to the zone that, yes, I want to go back? Because passion at some point of time, after some point of time, no matter how much you love your job, how much you like
Yeah.
that, it
Yeah.
fizzles out to an extent.
Right. Right.
And when it is equally challenging as a trek or a outdoor
Mhm.
education, I'm sure it's even double than what we do
Yeah.
on our 9 to 5 jobs. So
Right.
how do
Right.
you cope that?
Yeah. So I'll contradict my statement now that when I say that you need to have a passion for your work, you need to also treat this job as a work. And
Okay.
it happens to me by doing in this space for a while now. So when I started, I'm like, I love this thing. I love trekking. I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do trek on my own, do like back to back treks on my own, and like going with different organization and keep on working because I love this. And eventually I started feeling burning out. And
Yeah.
then I felt that I like these things, but if I'm overdoing it, the it fades down. So I need to have a proper work life balance. So when I'm saying is it's a 24-hour job, you do work, but when you are not on job, you don't do work at all. So a lot of people, what they keep on doing, because they live on those exotic conditions and all
Right.
those things, they always do work no matter what, if they are on job or not job. So if you are on a rest period and still you are staying in the mountain, you try to think of as a work all the time. You are going up and down and you are talking to clients. Uh, my strategy has been like, is that when I'm on a break, I don't talk about my work, otherwise that passion goes bad. So it has been a helpful when I'm my off, like when I clock off, that means when I get into my tent, I make it clear to my participants that I am there for help if anything happens. But now my clock is off. That means I need to have my me time. I'm not going to hang out with you till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the night. That means, so once you set the clear boundaries that what is work and what is not work, then you'll not burn out. If you are doing a track on your own, then you are doing it for yourself. So make it clear that this is for me, this is not I'm working for some company. So make the
Well,
boundaries pretty clear.
boundaries very clear because work-life balance at the end of the day, and since you have kind
Exactly.
of reiterated this a lot many times that this is passion, we understand this is passion, but
Yeah.
you're also looking at it as a career, so it is work as well. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
a fun life that you are
Yeah.
leading here. You have
Yeah.
really a job responsibilities out there,
Right. Right.
so
Right.
it has to go with the work-life balance because a feeling of burnout, being stressed up is very common. It's just
Right.
that the ways that we look at it is different. For a nine
Right.
to five corporate job, we have meetings and deadlines which kind of stress us.
Yeah.
For you guys, it's a different scenario, but again, these normal work feelings all stays. They still
Yeah.
remain.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, what is the career trajectory that a person should think when he starts with this particular kind of field? How
So
far can someone go, maybe?
it's a proper career. I'll say that it's a proper career.
Yeah.
Uh, you might find it a little hard to enter and sustain, but there are ways. One thing is a lot of freelancing people do is
Okay.
they travel till the age of like 30, 35, 40. They do a lot of freelancing, which means they travel around the country, which I'm also doing, by the way. So you do a lot of freelancing with different companies. You go there, work with them like 3, 4 months, and then you stay back and do your personal, have your personal life. That's
Okay.
one of the things. Another thing is a lot of companies out in the world or in India as well. You start as a leader or a track leader, then you end up managing a team leader or coordinator kind of role where you are managing 2, 3, or 5, 6 group leaders, track leaders, whatever you can say. Then you grow up into a more of a management position where you like design those programs, like what is going to happen and how you are doing it. And as you go up, risk management and all those things, and become a CEO some of company. So it's a pathway as well. You start as a going out in the field, like most of the days once you start when you start in a young age, you most of the time you spend on the field, and as you grow up you'll have an option to stay on the field or manage it half and half, like admin role, admin like administrative role you could take, and half you could take it as a field role. I know a lot of people who are doing it for like 20 years and they are still on field because they don't want to take admin role. So it all depends on you how you wanna grow.
Okay. And since you've quoted about admin work or administrative field, I'm sure there's a lot of back planning that kinds of go with the
Exactly.
front end thing that we see. So can you just
Exactly.
throw some light on what all back plannings, what all back end stuff happens uh, in planning, let's say a trek or this particular field,
Outdoor ed.
or
Yeah.
in terms of what all things you need in place when you think of this as a front end output?
Yeah, yeah. So the backend planning starts with what kind of trip you are taking anyone in. If you are taking anyone on an educational institute or if you're taking on a corporate group. So the design of the program that starts with the backend and the admin team, that how you are going to design this program. Are you taking on a leadership course, or you are going on a fun activity, or you are going on a people management course kind of outcome that you want to achieve. That comes from the like program design. Once you have designed that program, and it takes a lot of inputs from different stakeholders. What are the difficulty level you want to do, what are the activities you want to do, what would be the terrain and weather and all those things. So that needs a lot of work and time. Once that program is designed, you have to do the logistic and operation part of it before the program has been like done.
Okay.
So how many when I say the logistics and operation part of it, it comes with the managing of food, it comes with the managing of different equipments, managing of human resources, hiring people and all those things, and medical safety, what are the medical concerns and all those things, risk, what are the risks are associated and how we are going to tackle it. So that comes with the back end, a lot of operation part of it and the logistics planning. And once when you are delivering, when you are anyone is going on a program, the admin team needs to be keep updated, like what's happening down there,
Okay.
what are the, because you don't have a resources when you are on a trip. So if the weather is
Definitely.
getting bad, uh, or if especially in India sometimes there's landslides or something, then you need to communicate that. And after the program you need to check with the team how they did well and everything and feedback. So it's all come with, like I'll say, that pre-program, post-program, and during program. So all three things keep on going and it keeps on running throughout the cycle.
Okay, that's insightful. And just to check on how does a company like yours or something
Mhm.
that you are building with School of Outdoor Leadership, what is
Yeah.
the mission that you kind of start with, and
Mhm.
what all things are going inside this particular institute?
Yeah. So the company that I'm building is our mission is to bring experiential education to everyone in India. So our mission is to introduce this to uh, most of the schools in India. That's our vision because we think
Okay.
that this outdoor education or experiential education is very impactful and meaningful thing which students should have access to, and it helps them to grow, and it makes them real world ready. So that's our mission, and we are doing it through a variety of things, working with few schools to take them on program. Along with that, one of the programs that I am running is the outdoor instructor course, which is basically you know all your stuff about trekking, but how to
Yeah.
be an outdoor instructor, that requires some skill set, and that's what the course I am running. And due to COVID, I'm running it online as well. So a
Okay.
lot of theory part we are covering it in the online. So if anyone wants to enter into the industry, which I feel these are the few things that all the outdoor instructors should know. So like the outdoor leadership and the medical part and risk management part, like managing risk and everything. So that's the my course is covering. So this is what my company on a mission to do that.
Okay, that's a good thing to start. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more challenging as you kind of go down the path because it's not
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And it is it, do you think that whenever you kind of pitch someone about this particular thing, does it look like breaking some stereotypes?
Yeah, Ex- uh, it's kind of so few people understand it. Few people think that it's going on a picnic. So you handle different people differently. The people, if you understand it, then they are very much interested and they want to know more and do more. Few those who think that it's going on a picnic, we don't clarify them. We tell them, yes, you think that it's a picnic, let's go on a picnic with us, and you see those experience, and then you'll decide it's a picnic or not. So breaking the
Okay.
stereotype for yes, for sure. Another thing is I think the COVID attitude is hindering a lot of parents to send their kids outside in the world. But I find it a little bit absurd because parents are itself now everyone are going out, but the
They're
kids
going
are
out.
not allowed to go out. So, but I'm hopeful in the next couple of months it would change. Hopefully, there is no other way.
And on a side note, maybe, does this particular enhancement of outdoor education or leadership, do you think this will somewhere down the line boost the tourist expectations or also improve the lives of those local people that you kind of go at?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
it guide them
definitely,
somewhere?
definitely. It is helping, and it is going to help them a lot in the future as well. So I'll give you a simple example. As a student, as a year ninth standard, the school took you on a trek. You
Yeah,
like that. So what happens is that once you become a graduate, and once you like in the future, you would keep going on different this kind of activities,
correct.
and it would help the local as well because once you learn it, once you experience these different types of trips, the expectation is you will go once a year or once in 2 3 years. So you get to see it. Like I in my schooling system, I never went on any trip like that, so I had no exposure to it. So it's very difficult for me to get to expose to those things. But once you
Correct.
get exposed to the like at an earlier age, it would help the locals as well, because in the end the locals are the local staff, whichever area you are operating, they would be working with you. so they would get benefit in the end as well.
True. I think if I put it correctly, we do not really had an exposure that something of this can also happen while
Yeah,
we were kind of completing our schools and colleges and going on trips.
right.
And whosoever who's kind of explored it, it's by their own ways.
Yeah,
So choosing this as a career path or not choosing this as a career path, let it be an individual decision. But at
yeah,
least it's our duty to tell people that something of this exists, and you
right.
can bring this up or create this as your future course of action as well. Right
Right,
now, it's never seen as an option by a lot of people. For
right, right.
example, in my last discussion, when I was discussing similar things with Amarpreet, we always go to gym for getting more fit or
Right.
getting more healthier or whatever goal we kind of go with, but we always treat the person or the trainer as a trainer. He's like he's either running a gym, that's why he's
Mhm.
there, or he's just there for we do not never think that this is for him, it's not fun or it's not his passion. For him it's a job. Similar
Right.
things I think maybe viewed as a trek leader on outdoor education. We always say that this is the guide, he's the
Yeah,
guide for us, for the crew, but we never think that to him being a guide is a job.
yeah.
So that differentiation maybe we not have ever felt because we've not been told that this can be a full-time career as well, or we
Mhm.
might not have been able to look beyond a normal setup of being a manager director at a company or a brand, building a brand or building a
Mhm.
product or a service. So that is, I think, altogether a psychological shift that people need to see. And I think your particular mission can really do that, because at least we can open the area for people or students to explore in first place.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a lot of. I totally agree with you when people think of as a guide. Yes, the job is guiding, but that's also a job. It's a work. They are not
Exactly.
doing it for fun. They enjoy it. That's a bonus,
Yeah.
and they choose to do it. That's one of the things, because now a lot of people can go outside of like their if they are living in the villages, they can go outside and work, but they came back and choose to do that. That means
Exactly.
they like it, but it's a work. It's not like an compulsion for them, because they don't know anything, and it has been changing. It was not like that few years back, but now
True.
it's mental shift is happening. So that's my take on it.
Would you like to narrate one of your favorite memory or experience as a trek leader or an outdoor educator?
Yeah, so oh my god, there's so many. So one of my favorite experience is that I was leading a group in Australia, and a child was so there was two child. One child had ADHD. That child was hyperactive, and he was pain in the whole classroom. And one child was suffering for autism,
Okay.
and for somewhat reason they happened to come on this trip like in a same group. And the difference I saw them is was significant. They were the best group member in my team, and they overcome their fear. So the child who was ADHD was helping the child with the autism. And in the end, when they were like leaving, uh, both of them hugged me separately, and they told me that this experience out in the like wilderness was life changing for them, and they happen to see their what they have as their, what you say, strong point, not their weakness. So that's helped them a lot, and it could happen out in the outdoors because you facilitate those things. So that life changing experience that they have felt, and both of them and hugged me, and they were all crying because they came with a mindset that, oh, have to walk like 10, 12 kilometers every day with the backpacks on, and it's hot, and it's not even fun anymore. And by the end, they were like, we really pushed ourselves out of our comfort zone, and now we have those experience which would might take their life on like different pathway. So that's one of the best memories I have.
That's good. And another thing which just came to my mind, that while you have a group, you have a different set of people coming back from different mindsets, maybe different
Right.
cultures,
Yeah.
and which you can't control. Something which is out of our control. We cannot say no to someone who's coming up as a group member or someone.
Mhm.
How do you kind of network with each one of them? And second, how do you ensure that the sync remains on?
So that all comes into the technical part of like outdoor leadership. Like if I go on, it would be like 2 hours of how to manage conflict and how to get them from
Does conflict happen on the group?
yeah, yeah,
Kind
yeah, 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 yeah.
of.
So there are 4 stages of group development. I'll say that. So first stage is forming, which is the group has been formed. Then there has been like storming where the group storm at each other.
Okay.
So that's the conflict zone. And
Okay.
we sometimes as a leader facilitate that. Let them fight. Let's see what happens. As long as
Okay.
it's in control. So
Okay.
forming, storming, then it comes a norming. The norm has been set up in the group. Like you have storm, now you normalize things on this is how it's going to. And then it comes at performing. Then the whole group perform. So
Monitoring.
it's part of it. Yeah, it's a part of it. So it's not an what do you say, it's not like something you expect that it should not happen. If it happens, that's completely normal, and you get ready for it. So that's all you learn by either doing through courses or by experience and all those things. So these all 4 things I didn't know when I didn't knew these 4 things, that these are few stages of group development that anyone, all the groups go through. So when once I start feeling got the conflict, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Maybe I'm not a good group leader. But as I have like led more and more, it's totally normal, and you have to facilitate in a right way. So that's completely okay.
That at the end something has to be done, because you
Yeah,
can't just say
yeah,
that ठीक है आप base पे रह जाइए, आप
yeah,
बच
yeah, yeah,
जाइए. That
yeah, yeah,
cannot
yeah,
be done.
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. And I think this brings me to the end of the questions that I kind of have for you. But one bonus question: if someone plans to start today towards this goal of becoming an outdoor educator, apart from obviously having more passion or looking out for courses, how should he develop himself or herself ready? How should he prepare himself or herself?
Okay. What I'll say that you list down what you want to do.
Okay.
So I'll say that you list down what you want to do. Uh, if you want to be a trek leader, or if you want to be a raft guide, or if you want to be a rock climber, because all skill sets are different.
Okay.
Like
At the end, you have to pick one.
you
That's what
have
you're
to
saying.
pick, you could have no, let's pick few, top 3 which you want to do, or just
Okay.
one. So I started
Okay.
with one skill set of a trekking. Then I eventually learned rock climbing. Now I could guide on river. I could
Okay.
do skiing as well. So all these things you keep on doing, you keep on learning, but you need to be develop your forte, like what you want to do, what you like to do, and then maybe volunteer with some organization or a summer camp, or maybe take an internship or find some work where you learn those skill set or you already have, and do that for a month or two, and that would make you clear that do you want to do this for rest of your life or not. Because if you
Assessment basically.
yeah, yeah, because it's a hard work. So do start with a small activity, learn it or do it on your own, face those difficulty, and in the end if you still feel like you are doing it, then the pathway will keep on opening up for you. Then you could do different courses, uh, uh, a different kind of workshop, do the medical courses, go abroad and all those things, but you start slow and pick what you want to do.
So I'm listening to you and having a good conversation with you for past 1 hour. I'm feeling that the work I do is way more simpler, sitting on my laptop from 9 to 6 and just helping out people. It looks much more easier than what you do. Exactly, this is actually worth celebrating and very appreciative of what you're doing. Any closing piece of advice for any listeners out there?
Uh, if you really feel like this you want to do, just do it. And if you even if you don't want to make a career on it, I would say to the listeners that you need to go on this one of the trips, either on your own,
With
either with a
Samkit,
trip. Yeah.
with
Sorry.
you, with you.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Actually, yeah, I don't do the travel part of it. So I have made it very clear with my company that it's not a travel company. But still, if you want to do it, I could connect you with the organization or like, none. There's a lot of information available. But experience outdoors once in your life, and I would guarantee that either it would be a life-changing experience for you. Definitely, it would be.
Either good or bad, it will definitely still change your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Most
Either
probably
good
good
or
only,
bad.
I think.
Most
And
probably
on a
good,
good note.
sometimes as bad, but you need to experience that first. So that's would be my advice. Making
And
career,
on
it's a whole
this,
different thing, but
true.
experience first. Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
on this note, I would like to close this session and also the theme of Fit as a Fiddle, where we have explored two totally unconventional, non thinkable opportunities that exist for people out there. And I'm glad that this is happening. If nothing works, people can be a travel blogger at the end of the day,
yeah,
if you
definitely.
still feel like. But
Yeah,
yeah, thank you so much, Samkit, for doing this with me. And I'll stay in touch with you for more.
sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.